Good evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us to hear from your ward candidates running in the November 9th civic election. I'm Jason Kerr, a City Hall reporter with the Prince Albert Daily Herald, and on behalf of the Prince Albert Chamber of Commerce, I'll be your moderator for this evening. We'd like to start by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is Treaty 6 territory, home of the Prince Albert Grand Council, and homeland of the Métis Nation. This forum is being live streamed at the Chamber's Facebook and YouTube pages. Please subscribe, like, or share right now so others can watch too. Due to the number of questions we have already received on our text line and our time constraints, we won't be taking additional questions tonight, but we thank GL Mobile for that text line anyway. The candidates will appear by ward, creating 7 segments for tonight's forum. Because the same topics are of interest to all wards, our viewers will hear the same questions repeated in each segment. We have chosen this format because it's important to allow all candidates the opportunity to address the same topic. Ward 8 will not be included, as that position has already been filled by acclamation. Each candidate will be allowed a 1-minute introduction, and where they will outline their focus for the city. We will then ask a series of questions, and each candidate will have 90 seconds or less to respond. A yellow card will be held up on screen to indicate that they've got 30 seconds left in their time, and then we'll have a red card when they no longer have any time left, in which case their microphone will be muted. The order of speaking will rotate for each question, and afterwards candidates will have 1 minute to summarize their platform. If at some point a candidate disappears from the screen, it's just a technical problem, maybe on our end, maybe on their end, but our behind the scenes team here will work with them to get them back up on the screen as soon as possible. There will be no direct debate between candidates. Please feel welcome to comment online, as candidates will be able to view those comments after the forum, and they can respond directly to you if they wish. We just ask that you keep those comments polite and respectful, and anything inappropriate will be deleted. With that, we will open up tonight's forum by starting with our Ward 1 candidate. We've got incumbent Charlene Miller and challenger Daniel Brown. You will each have 1 minute to introduce yourselves and describe your platform. So welcome to both of you guys, and we'll start with Charlene first, and then we'll go to Daniel. So go ahead, Charlene.
Great, thank you. And thank you to the Chamber for hosting this. It's time that we went virtual for a few things. I would like to start off by saying that I'm letting my name stand for the re-election of Ward 1. It has been my honor to serve you for the past 3 terms. I have worked hard to represent you, and my husband and I have been long-term residents of this ward. I also grew up in this ward. I went to school at St. Michael's and Westmore, and also Boucher. I've been employed by the Prince Albert Health Region for 24 years. I've been knocking on doors since the campaign started, and I am listening to concerns, and I will be knocking on doors until the election. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charlene. Daniel, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that voted for me in the last election there. We came up a little bit short, but hopefully we'll get a few more on our side in this election. Tell you a little bit about myself. I'm another new dad again. I have a 5-month-old daughter. So that's one of the other big reasons why I'm running again. I really love this community down here, and I want it safer for my daughter to grow up in and enjoy in, and have a great childhood like I had down here. I lived here my whole life, so I'm going to try to get everything done that Charlene couldn't get done in the last 12 years. I'll try to get her done in the next 12 months. It's great we got the Rotary Trail cleaned off, but 15th Street could sure use it safe for kids to walk down, and our citizens don't have to walk down the street and almost get hit by cars because there's no sidewalk to walk on. So just some minor things, and then some big things like bigger playgrounds, more activities for the kids, more community involvement, rejuvenate. Oh, thanks.
No problem. I'm sure we'll be played her close a few times tonight. But thank you both for those introductions. We'll get to the first question. It's about business here in Prince Albert. Daniel, we'll have you answer it first, then Charlene. So first of all, Daniel, what do you feel are the greatest opportunities and challenges as far as business growth and expansion in Prince Albert is concerned?
Well, land development, we're running out of land to develop, and we're having a hard time getting new businesses in. So we could provide some kind of tax incentive for the first year or two to get them in, and then, collect the tax on them later, help them develop the land, do whatever it takes to get them in, and then that'll drive our economy better. So stuff like that, I guess we can work on with the other councillors when I get in. We'll figure her out.
Thank you very much. And Charlene, same question to you.
The growth plan is in place. The council has been working on that for a while. The only thing I ask is that we develop some sort of policy so we can have some fair game across the board for everyone. I know everybody's different, but we need to start doing that. And we also need to take care of the like Ted Matheson. He's been here for years and years and he gets nothing. And he's been here for a very long time and we do nothing for the people who have been here. So we got to look at lots of things.
Thank you very much for your answer, Charlene. The next question, we're alternating. So Charlene, you'll answer first, then Daniel. If elected, what would your suggestions to best address resident and business owner concerns related to crime be? Charlene?
Sorry, for crime, did you say?
I'll read it again. If elected, what would your suggestions be for best addressing resident and business owner concerns about crime?
So, yeah, there's a lot of crime in our city as of since for a while now. And to make sure that your businesses are lit up, to make sure that you get a hold of the police when you need to get a hold of the police, and they'll come and do what's necessary to help you get through the troubled times. And yeah.
Thank you very much, Charlene. Daniel, same question to you.
Well, I think with that back alley curfew, I think that's one step in the right direction. The other thing, if we could revitalize this neighborhood watch and get people familiar with their neighbors, if you know everybody around your house, well, then you got 6 or 8 more sets of eyes looking after your stuff when you're at work or away on holidays. More community involvement would be a great thing. It doesn't hurt to know your neighbors, give them a hand. Like, I've helped a few of my neighbors with some domestic problems there and had to go intervene when was needed. So people can't be scared to get involved with their neighbors. If there's something going on, you got to step in once in a while and help them out and try to diffuse the situation. So sometimes the cops take a little bit to get there because it's a big place in a busy town. So as for the businesses, we got to work on it. We got to make the tougher on crime with these kids. They just get in and out of jail. So it's federal stuff that's got to change. I've been at the penitentiary for 20 years, so I see guys come and go. And, you got to be tougher on these guys. You can't just let them out with a slap on their wrist. So more discussion with the federal and provincial counterparts would be a good start too.
All right. Thank you very much, Daniel. We'll move on to our next question here. What can the city do to assist businesses who have suffered economically from the pandemic while also balancing the budget? We'll start with Daniel and then go to Charlene.
Well, it's a pretty tough one as a newcomer into the politic game. So, we got to do what we can, offer some tax breaks, maybe lower the tax for a bit, try to get everybody back on their feet. As a counselor, hey, I'll take a half a pay cut if that's what it takes to get this economy back going. And I was going to try to get my money donated to the kids around here, get them working. If the city's going to pay me $15 an hour, well, I don't need to be paid while I'm sitting at home waiting for a meeting next week. I want to hire some kids to get some shoveling and get these activities going. So it starts with us, I guess. We got to take the pay cuts and lead by example.
All right. Thank you very much, Daniel. And Charlene, same question to you.
Well, maybe the city can always look at holding the taxes for 2020 or 2019 and leave them at those rates. for a hand up, not a handout, but a hand up. And maybe we can look at that as a council and see where that would put us.
All right. Thank you very much for those answers. Last question of the night. A quick yes or no. Would you be willing to meet with ward residents to regularly schedule town halls to discuss their grassroots concerns? We'll start with Charlene.
Absolutely. We do have, we went around and we did community meetings, and we haven't done that for a little bit. I'm not too sure why, but yes, absolutely. And we do have a neighborhood watch, so that's a good group to get a hold of and come together and do that.
Thank you very much for that answer, Charlene. Daniel, same question to you.
Yeah, it's funny you asked that, because that was my number one priority in my last campaign, and my number one priority this campaign is to have quarterly meetings. I was a union president out at the pen there for 6 years, and you can't run a mandate, a 4-year mandate, without talking to your people. So I know how important those community meetings are. After Charlene got in last time, she had one meeting, and then we didn't see her for 4 years. So there's reasons why people run against people, because things aren't getting done the way they should. So hopefully I'll get in and we'll start all these stuff that I'm planning and look forward to, and getting ideas from the community members, because it's a big community here and lots of good ideas out there, but you don't hear them unless you meet with them. So knocking on a door every 4 years sure don't cut it, I'll tell you that.
Thank you very much for your answers. We'll go right now to give you 1 minute to summarize your position. We're going to start first with Daniel. Just make a 1 minute pitch to voters in Prince Albert, and then we'll give Charlene 1 minute. So starting with you, Daniel. Yeah,
so I'm sure you guys all read my flyers there. Quarterly meetings, great big one. We got to meet with the community. We got to get involved. We got to pair up with the communities that we can. I've met with Sherry McLean with the Western Region 2 there. Looking forward to doing some work with them, and down here with Don Sanderson at the community at the old school, and PAGC. There's another good network of people to deal with and get involved with. So the more we can do for this community, the better off we are. Like we got a new playground down here, cost $100,000. I don't know how that cost so much, but good thing we got it. It was election period, so good way to buy a couple votes, I suppose. You know, I'm going to get out there, and if I got to plow that 15th Street with my own quad and my blade, well, I'll do that. And I got a great big truck with a plow too. So if you can't get in your driveway, you give me a call and I'll get her done, and we'll get this solutions to these problems that we're having down here. So here we go. Let's get her done.
All right. Thank you very much, Daniel. And Charlene, 1 minute to you.
I'm going to continue voting in favor of improving streets all over our city, actually, and working with our new bylaw unit to get the unsightly properties taken care of, and working with landlords to take care of their properties, and also organizing my spring cleanup, which I do every year for the last 10 years, and continuing to work with mayor and council to ensure upkeep of programs and infrastructure, spending our tax dollars wisely. And it was great of Malcolm Jenkins to donate money for our playground, our brand new one. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for discussing these topics with us tonight. That's it for our Ward 1 segments. We'll now have 90 seconds, and we'll be back with councillors from Ward 2. Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you very much, Charlene. Best of luck to both of you on November 9th.
Vote, vote, vote.
Looks like a nice red.
Welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the little bit of a delay there. We had some technical difficulties on our end, but as far as I know, we've got everyone that's supposed to have for Ward 2. So thank you very much, everyone. We've got incumbent Tara Lennox-Zepp here, and she's running against challengers Dana Dirks, Kim Conroe, and Devin Frederick Gorder. We'll each have 1 minute to introduce themselves and discuss their platform. We're going to start with Tara, and then we'll go to Dana, then to Kim, then to Devin. So first of all, Tara, we'll start with you. Introduce yourself and discuss.
Thanks very much. My name is Tara Lennox-Zepp, and maybe I'll just check with the moderator that you can hear me all right. Sounds good. So my name is Tara Lennox-Zepp, and I am the current city councillor for Ward 2. And I put a great amount of effort into soliciting public feedback before every single council meeting over the past 4 years. So what I do is that before each council meeting, I put out onto social media, on Facebook, and also on an email list of people who want to receive it, asking the public, how should I vote on the following topics? And so I found that to be very valuable. The public seems to appreciate it. And it helps to inform me to learn how best I should be voting. And so I want the public to know that it is something that I value. I want to hear from you, and that's how I've run my last 4 years on council. Is I need to hear from you, the public, so that I can have a better sense of how I should be voting in the public interest. And it also better informs our city council meetings. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tara. Dana Dirks, go ahead. 1 minute to you.
Thanks, Jason, and also thanks to the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this for us tonight. It's much appreciated. My name is Dana Dirks. I moved to Prince Albert in 1989. I fell in love with the city. I bought my first home in Ward 2 in Hazeldale. I currently live there with my wife and 2 beautiful children. I'm an operations and business manager for the Hatchet Lake Economic Development Corporation and Caribou Transport right here in Prince Albert. I've been heavily involved in the community in sports and with the hockey scene, coaching, scouting, also working heavily in the softball community here, and do a lot of charity events for hospitals and stuff. Unfortunately, at this time, only out of province, but hopefully soon here in Prince Albert with our new hospital that's being built, I can help out with that as well. Got a passion for the city. I love it here, and I want to be a part of the solution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dana. Kim, 1 minute to you.
I'd like to begin by thanking the Chamber and yourself for acknowledging that we are on Treaty 6 territory. Greetings, I am Kim Conroe. I'm a mother, wife, Métis woman, and educator. I was born and raised in the West End. I have resided with my family on 15th Street for over 10 years. I am compelled to run for City Council for three main reasons. First, I'm concerned about the safety of the community in which we live. Crime and addictions are on the rise, and they go hand in hand. My community has been living in fear, and I see little evidence that things are improving. Second, I want to help create more opportunities for senior and youth. And last, I feel that Ward 2 is underrepresented. We need a strong voice that will listen to the residents of Ward 2 and work with them to build effective partnerships that can move our issues forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kim. And finally, Devin, 1 minute to you. Hang on, Devin, you're muted. Just a second there. We'll unmute you and then we'll let you start again. So go ahead. 1 minute to you, Devin.
All right, thanks, Jason. I just want to say thank you to you and the Chamber of Commerce for this information session. I was born and raised here in Prince Albert. I obtained a chiropractic degree in USA, and I came back here because this is just the best place to be. I'm a one-time resident of Ward 2, where I reside with my family and my wife, Kristen Arpin. We have three beautiful daughters. I'm committed to work for the residents of Ward 2 and make sure our neighborhoods and the city work for all of us. I just want to say we'll do the best we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Devin.
Thank you.
All right. So we'll get right to questions here. First of all, for the incumbent, Tara, what have you specifically done for the city that you're proud of over the last 4 years? And for the three challengers, what are your top two goals heading into the next 4 years? So we'll start with Dana, then we'll go to Kim, then Devin, and then we'll finish with Tara. So first of all, Dana, go ahead. Your top two goals for the next 4 years.
My top two goals for the next 4 years is public safety and business growth and development for our city. We clearly have a public image problem in Prince Albert that we keep sticking our head in the sand on. If you drive through our downtown core, you see fences around our buildings. That's not a solution. A solution is working with the great groups that we already have in town, Sherry and her crew at the Métis Center, and Dawn down at in the flats, and Donna Brooks at the YWCA, and letting those people help us and guide us. They know how to fundraise. They know how to get these things done. They just need the city to maybe get out of their way and let them do their job. Let's get a proper facility for them so that we can get these people some help. And when we're doing that, we're improving the public image that we have and our public safety levels. And that can help us attract new businesses and growth in the city, which we desperately need to increase our tax base so that we can provide even better opportunities for our seniors and our youth and our children. And we can be proactive in our policing and how we're raising our children in the community and make it a much better place. And I know it won't be easy, but I'm ready for the challenge.
Thank you very much, Dana. Kim, same question to you. Top two goals for the next 4 years.
I totally agree with Dana about business growth. We need to build the civic engagement and ownership while our community is growing. We can.
Sorry, Devin.
Sorry.
We should have had Kim go in.
All right.
He can go. Let him go. He's fine.
Devin, go ahead, Devin. Sorry about the mix-up.
I was just saying that I agree with Dana. We need to, our business growth should be top-notch. We need to build civic engagement and ownership. Our community is growing. We can't lose loyalty and relationships that make us stronger. We need to re-examine budgets and find ways to encourage new business here.
All right. Thank you very much, Devin. Kim, go ahead.
Okay, I guess I have to go now. My top two priorities, first would be safety for the community, crime reduction, which goes with crime reduction. Addiction and crime reduction go hand in hand. We're seeing a big rise in addictions, and that's affecting the whole city of Prince Albert and our ward. So we need to figure out with people who are experts in these areas, and we need to get their expertise in, and we need to figure out the problem, how to fix the problem. We need solutions, and we need to build partnerships to move those forward. The second priority for me would be activities and programs for youth and seniors. I walked the entire ward of Ward 2 during this campaign, and within the rivers, on the city side of the river, there's only one playground for children, and that's in the far East Hill. And that's very sad because we have a lot of beautiful children, and we need to make sure that they have activities to keep them busy. And also we need to keep our seniors safe, and we need to keep them happy. And during COVID, they're having a very challenging time, and they're very lonely, and they're very isolated. So those are my priorities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kim. And then Tara, you get the special portion of this question. What have you done over the last 4 years that you're specifically proud of for the city?
Thanks very much. So I have 4 points to raise, but they all intertwine with one overarching goal that I'm really proud that has happened, and I touched on it already. That I am known as the councillor who does the most extensive reaching out to the public before we vote, before a vote happens. And so I am very proud of that I raise awareness of topics that are going to come up to council before we ever vote on them. Because I find that the public, they want to engage, they want to have their thoughts and voices known before we vote on topics, not just hear about them in the media later. So 4 points of what I'm really proud of. Number one is definitely the work that I've done with seniors, and also citizens, young people who contact me weekly with, sometimes they have large issues, sometimes they have small infrastructure issues, and I'm proud to say that the majority of the time after I meet with those citizens, that I'm able to then reach out to city administration, and the majority of those issues we're able to resolve and get some assistance so that the city is pursuing what we should be doing for the people that are reaching out to me. And that's a weekly task that I get calls all the time. Number two is working with businesses. And so I have been a strong advocate in all of our budget meetings that we as a city need to be doing better in terms of infrastructure. So that's my second point. I'll be quick. Third and fourth points I'll put together. I've strongly opposed some spending in our city that has really.
Sorry, Tara, we got to cut you off. Sorry about that. Our next question we'd like to get to is retail locations along Central Avenue. There are a lot of them that, there are a lot of empty retail locations sitting along Central Avenue year after year, while more retail space continues to be put in other areas of the city. How would each of you address bringing back business into Central Avenue and our downtown core? We'll start with Kim, then we'll go to Devin, Tara, and Dana. So Kim, first of all.
Okay, I would focus on the demographics in that area. First being the seniors, I would try to work with people in the community to bring businesses that are relative to the seniors in that area. And second, this new university is in. We need to make it attractive for the university students to stay down in that area and to enjoy themselves down there. And when I was a little girl, I really loved going down to Central Avenue. It was the place to be. And it's just not that way right now. It's scary, to be frank with you. And I want to see PA downtown Central Avenue like it was when I was a little girl. And someone asked me, do you think that's really relevant? And I really do think it's relevant that we keep our history in the downtown core. There is a lot of strong businesses in the downtown area, Partners Furniture, Jack Matheson. There's lots of strong businesses down there. They're doing something right, and we need to talk to them and work with them and help them get other businesses down there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kim. Devin, the question to you.
All right, I agree, Kim. I agree with you. When I was little, downtown was awesome. It was the place to be. But now it needs to change. We need to consult with business owners. Number one, engage ownership, and we can't lose loyalty down there at all. We need to make sure that Central Avenue is a destination that brings repeat customers here, and they look at different solutions for parking, even activities that are down there. We need to bring it back. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Devin. Tara, you're next.
Thank you very much. So during my term on council, I made what I believe is a really important motion that was passed, and that motion was to pay a consultant firm to create a design and implementation plan called the Central Avenue Downtown Streetscape Plan. And so that motion passed, and we do have that now. We have a full implementation plan on how to revitalize and completely revamp our downtown portion of Central Avenue. Over the last years on council, I have at budget, I have made my points known and advocated that we as a city have to improve our downtown. It's a terrible shame, and we need to put the money into doing that. And that means start the funding to commence this project. We have the plan, we have the implementation plan. It's time to start the work. And so far, the city has not yet budgeted for that, and we need to do that. So our infrastructure downtown is crumbling. The streets have not been substantially repaved in 20 years. The sidewalks are chipped and totally crumbling. They're 35 years old. And so this reintegration plan includes removing all sidewalks, removing the asphalt, doing all the underground water and sewer work that our city administration tells us is 110 years old and is in need of replacement. So what better time than now to put our money where our mouth is and to revitalize that downtown?
Thank you very much, Tara. And Dana, last word to you.
Thanks, Jason. Once again, I mean, one of the biggest things that we're seeing in our downtown core is our public image. If somebody comes down there, if somebody's looking to put a business downtown and they see fences up around our buildings, that's just not going to cut it. As a business guy, you're not going to build there. You're not going to come there. So the first and foremost is we got to get a proper facility. We've got to get the proper funding in place, and we've got to get the right thing done for our homeless people so that we can look after that situation. We can clean up the downtown. We can put together a plan, get some better parking, get some better stuff going on down there. I see it very similar to like a Broadway in Saskatoon. We've got street fairs going on. We got food trucks. We got our farmers market down there. We've got bands playing on the riverbank. We underutilize our riverbank like crazy here. It's a beautiful place. We just gotta help the image of our city, and it'll attract people. We can do certain things downtown with grants and revitalization programs, and we can create some taxation credits for people that are willing to put themselves down there for us. There's so many things that we can do, and I've been hearing about it for so long in our city, and it seems like we've never accomplished anything other than a forestry center that then turned empty on us, and thankfully now we've got the U of S down there. We can't lose out on the opportunity of that U of S facility down there. We've got to capitalize on it. We got to get some cafes down there for those kids that are trendy. We start getting to that trendy stuff that the young kids like nowadays. That'll develop, that'll bring the people down there, and that in itself will create a great prospect. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our four candidates for answers on that question. Next up, we're going to talk about crime in Prince Albert. If elected, what would your suggestions be to best address crime concerns raised by residents and business owners in Prince Albert? We're going to start with Devin, then go to Tara, then Dana, and then Kim. So Devin, first answer to you.
Well, I think that crime's an issue here in Prince Albert, and we really need to take a good look at it. And I'm not opposed to having more police officers or more patrol downtown or in the city. We just need to make it safe for our families and our kids and our citizens, period.
Thank you very much, Devin. Tara, the question to you.
Thank you very much. So, of course, I've been out door knocking, out on the doorstep, talking to voters this campaign, and I also go out door knocking every year over the past 4-year term. And crime is the #1 topic that people need to talk about at the doorstep. And so what I'm hearing from voters is that they are wanting to see a Prince Albert Police Service that is in a position where it's able to have more of a police presence. So more driving through our neighborhoods, more walking through our avenues and back alleys to prevent crime before it happens. And I think that's a feasible goal. And I think the public expect that to improve and that we can improve on that. Our city has massive real and perceived safety concerns when it comes to crime. And we have a right to be safe in our community. And everyone in our community does, and we need to improve on that. And it's possible and feasible to do that. One item that comes to council is called crime reduction through environmental design. And there are many, many studies that show that there's a lot that can be done by a city to reduce crime, prevent crime through environmental design. It can be things like really bright street lights and really the studies show that it can be done, and we can do better on that as well. There's a program that the city is looking into. North Battleford created it called Eyes That Care campaign, and that's something I've been advocating for, that we focus on.
Thank you very much, Tara. Dana, the question to you.
You know, I think the one thing that we have to do is we have to become proactive in our approach. We're a small city with big city problems, and it's not going away anytime soon. We need to get together with the provincial government to get some more funding here so we can get some more feet on the ground. That is just owed to us by the city for what we deal with here. If we can get proactive in our policing, we can help stop a lot of the situations that are happening. And it's not just the policing. Partnering with, people like Sherry down at the Métis Group and Dawn down at the Bernice Saizi Center. They've got some great programs underway. They're working with the youth. They're trying to rehabilitate gang members. We need to give them the support they need to stop this while it's happening at its root cause. They know better than we do what's going on. We just got to give them the platform and let them lead the way for us. We need to know when we're not the smartest people. And we got to listen to the people that are smarter than us. And those are the people that are smarter than us. They've got their finger on it. They know what's going on. They know how to fix it. They just need some help to get the job done. And that's what we should be here for as councillors and the mayor as well. And we got to stop dragging our feet on this issue. It's something that's pressing, and it's costing this city dearly in everything that we do. And we've just got to do a better job. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dana. And Kim, the last word to you. Your thoughts.
Thank you. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that I really appreciated when the back alley curfew or bylaw came into effect. In our neighborhood, we found a big difference in the crime went down in the back alleys for a substantial amount of thefts. So I'd like to build on that. And what I really believe in is starting a neighborhood watch in every community. And it could be as easy as starting a WhatsApp app to get neighbors connected to each other, watching out for each other. Like, it's such a no-brainer. And I agree that we need to use people who are experts in the field. And we really need to deal with addictions, because most of the problems in Prince Albert are coming from the addictions in our area. So we need to lobby the federal government, provincial government, so that they can give us more funding, more direction to help us have a safer community, because we deserve to live in a safe community and city. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Kim. The next question is about communication with your constituents. Quick yes or no, would you be willing to meet with ward residents to regularly schedule town halls to discuss their grassroots concerns? We're going to start with Tara, then go to Dana, then to Kim, then to Devin. So Tara.
I'm going to say yes, and that I currently do go out and do in-person meetings at Sherman Towers, Carmont Court, Northcote Manor, Columbian Centre Building, and other locations as well. And I know that members of the public, they contact me, they say, Tara, can you come down and take a look at this roadway or this issue? And I always come down. I'm happy to do so, and I would continue to do that.
Thank you very much. Dana, the question to you.
Absolutely. I think it's fundamental that we do that. And part of the overall proactive plan has to be us as a city getting our community clubs back together, more active. If we can get our community clubs built up and more active, that's going to solve a lot of problems for us. And it's going to be a huge thing. We get to those meetings, we get the people from the community clubs out, we get that pride back in our community clubs. Pride goes a long way to solving a lot of problems. And I think it's the only way for us to go forward is to have those meetings and not just once a year or once every 4 years. We should be having that meeting quarterly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kim, question to you.
100% yes. That is one thing I really strongly believe in doing. And I don't want people to use the pandemic that we're currently in as an excuse not to have these meetings. We are in a technological world. There's no reason that we can't have community meetings online. And I've lived on 15th Street for 10 years, and not once have I been invited to a community meeting to voice my opinions. Well, I correct myself, one time, and I went and nothing ever came from that. So I will listen to my fellow residents of Ward 2, and I will do my best to move their issues forward. Thank you.
All right. And thank you very much, Kim. And Devin, the last word to you.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, you know what? I've talked to, I don't know, 5,000 people here this last 2 weeks, and more just want to touch base, and they want to talk to each other, and they want to have a little bit of a get together, and I'm all for that. And I appreciate everything that they say, and I think we should just keep going in that positive roll from there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Devin. That's it for the questions. Thank you guys very much for discussing these topics with us. We'll now give you each 1 minute to just summarize your platform, make your pitch to Prince Albert voters. We're going to start with Dana, then go to Kim, then Devin, and then end with Tara. So Dana, you're first up. You have 1 minute.
Once again, thanks, Jason. Do appreciate the platform this evening. To the residents of Ward 2, I've got 25 years business experience. I've negotiated multi-million-dollar contracts. I've had as many as 220 employees under my watch. I think the city needs to be treated more like a business. We need to run it like a business. We need to be transparent. We need to be professional. We need to be able to work with each other and develop these platforms. We can't constantly be bickering and arguing with each other about what we need to get done. What we need to do is get things done. I'm a realist, and the reality is that we need to get proactive and get moving before it's too late for our city. On November 9th, vote for me, put me to work for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dana. And Kim, you have 1 minute.
I would like to acknowledge that all those who put their names in for it to run. It's not an easy thing to do because it's a job that requires passion, dedication, and willingness to serve others. I'd also like to acknowledge that I'm not a politician. I'm simply a resident of Ward 2 that wants better for my community. I believe that if you want the world to change around you, you need to be part of the change. I will never claim to know all the answers, but what I do promise is that I will do my best to find solutions. I promise to build partnerships with those who know, and in doing so, it will move our ward in a positive direction along with the rest of the city. I want to point out that it is not always about asking the hard questions. It's about listening, building relationships, and getting things accomplished. I ask for your vote. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much, Kim. Devin, you're up. You have 1 minute.
All right, Jason. Thank you very much for tonight. In closing, I believe some leaders in our community continuously focus on why we should not do things rather than what we can do together to make Prince Albert a better place. I believe health and vibrant communities should focus on what we can do together. We owe it to the generations ahead of us to make Prince Albert the best that we can do and the best that we can be. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Devin. And Tara, you'll end us off for tonight. You have 1 minute.
Thank you so much. A major part of my platform is long-term planning, that we as a city, we often fail at long-term planning. We need to be looking far into the future, more than a 4-year term of council. And that needs to be done better with improvements at budget time. And that's something I've been advocating for the past 4 years, especially at budget time, looking into ways that we can spend now to have cost savings into the future. If elected, of course, I will continue doing the Ward 2 community cleanup, which is a spring cleanup program that I volunteer with. And I will continue to host those community meetings that I've talked about with any groups that are interested, but currently we do have many. And I will continue listening to residents before we have a vote, not just after a vote. I have raised issues that the public have been very dissatisfied with and have bringing concerns to my attention for City Hall over the last 4 years, and I'll continue to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tara, and thanks again to all 4 of our candidates in Ward 2. That concludes this segment. We'll have a 90-second break, and we'll be back with candidates from Ward 3. Thank you very much.
You're in the show. I think for 20 minutes. No, but I mean overall.
Good evening, everyone. We've got 2 of the 3 Ward 3 candidates here tonight. Unfortunately, Lee Atkinson not able to join us this evening, but we do thank Everett Botha and Tony Head for being here tonight. First of all, we're going to give you guys 1 minute each to introduce yourself and describe your platforms, and then we'll get into the questions. We're going to start with the incumbent, Everett Botha, and then we'll go to the challenger, Tony Head. So, Everett, the first minute is to you.
Thank you, Jason. Tonight's definitely been the longest that I've ever had the privilege of hearing your voice. We normally see you sitting in the back in council chambers in silence. But I do want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for hosting tonight's panel and for your tireless work in advocating for your members, the businesses that keep the engine of our local economy running. I'd also like to take a quick moment to congratulate our newly elected MLA, Alana Ross, on her victory. And we look forward to working with you in the provincial government, should I be privileged and honored to be elected as the Ward 3 councillor in the upcoming municipal election. You know, my track record speaks for itself. Every resident that I've had the privilege of dealing with knows that I return my calls, return my emails, answer those very, very difficult questions, and that I'm not prepared to bat for one resident, for 10 or for 100 when it comes to speaking on their behalf, which is what I promised for at City Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Everett. And Tony, your opening 1 minute statement.
Thanks, Jason, and hello to Everett and all the other candidates on here tonight. I wanted to say hi. I think you did a recognition of the treaty territory, so I think that's important. But more so, my name is Tony Head. I'm a proud resident of Prince Albert, and I've been living here for 23 years now in the East Flat area here with my wife, Jeanette, and my 3 beautiful daughters, Alicia, Brianna, and Chloe, who truly inspire me to do the work I'm doing today. And I'm very happy to be here and able to address some of the audience. But currently, I work for the Canadian Union of Public Employees. I've worked for the City of Prince Albert for 11 years, and for the last 9, I've been representing workers within the City of Prince Albert and throughout the North. So, very familiar with representing people, and I think definitely would like to do more of that in terms of a city councilor. Some of my issues I've been platforming on is community safety, tackling social issues such as poverty, alcohol, and drug abuse. Reducing crime and addressing homelessness is very important and key. Investing in our youth and promising and protecting our.
Thank you very much for your opening statement, Tony. We'll get right into the questions now. First up, what do you feel are the greatest opportunities and challenges for business growth and expansion in Prince Albert? We'll start with Tony, and then we'll go to Everett. So, Tony, the question.
Well, I think it is important to support our business, local business. I'm not going to say perceive to know all the answers. I definitely haven't been a business owner myself, but I know that small businesses amount and create a lot of revenue for the province, and of course is provides more so to our local economy. So supporting the local businesses is very important to me. And I've had a couple conversations with a few, and their concerns are having growth to the city. Sorry, I see Jason talking. Okay, growth to the city is important, and feeling that having the same customers over is not enough. So attracting businesses and or growth is important to support our local businesses and listening to what they have to say. I know there's a lot of groups out there like the Chamber of Commerce that would guide our decision making and or advise us appropriately on how to support our local businesses. So.
Thank you, Tony. Sorry about that. I was trying to talk to one of our behind the scenes people here, and we got our wires crossed. So sorry about that.
No worries.
But Everett, the question to you.
Thank you, Jason. Can everyone hear me? Somebody said they can't hear me. Perfect. As a small business owner, I know some of the challenges faced by many businesses in our community, especially during these difficult economical times due to COVID-19, but also to a largely depressed economy, which we haven't been able to kickstart for the better part of the last decade, it seems. There are signs of hope on the horizon. We've been talking about a diamond mine for a very, very long time. We have the largest mining company in the world on our doorstep as exploring. But I think looking local to our businesses here, City Hall should take the lead in creating opportunities for businesses through economic development. That would be through promoting partnership with businesses here in the city, businesses in the region. I think our economic development officer, which we haven't had for a long time, should be the very person, not just to draw new business to our city, but also to advocate for our businesses at the provincial and the national level. I think, when we look at City Hall, we are an enterprise. And as an enterprise, we should always look at supporting our local businesses first, those businesses within our community, those businesses within our region, and those businesses within our province. We've all heard a lot of promises at campaign time regarding economic development, but the time is now to deliver.
All right. Thank you very much for those answers, gentlemen. Next question is about crime in Prince Albert. If elected, what are some of the policies and suggestions you would make to best address concerns about crime raised by residents and business owners in Prince Albert? We'll start with Everett, and then we'll go to Tony. So,
crime is a very, very important issue, and it's something which I've been dealing with for the last 4 years in Ward 3. Residents in our community started the first neighborhood watch in Prince Albert in a long time. I was very honored to be on the board at the start, and that entity has grown to great strength. And our residents are really using that as a tool, not just to interact with each other and to give everyone a heads up, but also to communicate and report to the Prince Albert Police Service. We do have a great professional police service, and whatever the funding is that they need, I would really hope that they're going to look at smart and innovative ways. Some of my colleagues have mentioned some of those concepts earlier in the evening. But ultimately, our men and women in uniform put their lives in harm's way on a daily, on an hourly, minute-by-minute basis. And, it's up to us as a community to report any concerns, be it bylaw, be it serious crime. If it's not reported to the police, there is nothing that can be done about that. That's one thing I've always encouraged residents to do, is call it in. If it looks out of place, call it in. If it's wrong, call it in. Our police rely on that information. It is vital for them to be able to react and respond to that. Our policemen and women are out there every night patrolling our back lanes and our streets. They're there throughout the day. And I would hope that our Prince Albert Police Chief and the police members will be able to comfort and provide some sort of comfort to our residents that these matters are very, very important to them.
Thank you very much, Everett. Tony, the question to you.
Well, that's what I've been hearing a lot from the residents in my door knocking is the crime and the security of residents in their neighborhoods. I mean, I've reached out to many others, and I talked to Dave Mulhall, chair of the Neighborhood Watch, and definitely plan to support that initiative. But more so, I think I'm supporting their police services. I heard a few people mention, more boots on the ground. I feel that we got to deal with the root issue of some of the crime we're seeing is poverty and addiction issues. I think is more we need to focus on that as well, on top of ensuring the safety of our residents. So I definitely feel that the police are doing a good job, and they need to be supported as well. I think we could do more, obviously, and need to do more looking at and addressing some of the concerns of the residents. That's been number one priority. So I definitely a focus of mine, and I hope to explore what other cities have been doing and what's successful. And I've heard of, as Everett mentioned earlier, a couple initiatives that are already taking place. So looking at some of those organizations and supporting what they're doing, but also listen to the appropriate people to ensure we're actually putting the resources where they need to be supported. So that's the biggest thing, and definitely number one priority on my list.
All right, thank you very much, Tony. The next question is about the COVID pandemic and how it's affected businesses in Prince Albert. What do you think the city can do to assist businesses who have suffered economically from the pandemic while also balancing the city budget? We'll start with Everett and then go to Tony. So Everett, your response.
Thank you for the question, Jason. Let's not kid around. We've seen through this pandemic that during the initial lockdown phases, everything ground to a halt. But the big box stores were still making money. Their doors were open. Our small businesses are the ones who really suffered. At this stage, we've seen some businesses closed. We've seen some establishments not reopen. So as City Council and as a city administration, we need to have an open door for any business to come to City Hall and to City Council if need be, and ask for any sort of concessions and any additional deferrals that can be accommodated, given the fact that we as a city can't run a deficit budget. We do have to balance that budget on an annual basis. Residents do hear us talk about the Fiscal Stabilization Fund from time to time, which is really a forward surplus for the current year. But there are a lot of businesses that are suffering. There are employees who are without jobs. The federal government and the provincial government has already stepped up and provide some sort of relief for businesses as well as individuals. But I think as an administration, as a city council, we need to be able to empathize more with business owners. Our business owners don't just own a business, they own a house, maybe multiple houses in the city. So we need to be able to work with them rather than racking and stacking the penalties on overdue tax accounts.
Thank you very much, Everett. Tony, your response.
Well, I would say listen. I listen to our business owners that we have, and as I mentioned, it is important for our economy to support our small business owners. And yes, how we're going to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, I think it starts with proper spending in City Hall and mindful that we're on the heels of this pandemic, which we don't know the financial crisis it has caused, at least in terms of City Hall and some of the accounts we see there. So I do feel, listening and supporting our businesses and coming up with ideas, and not so much that I will do that, but definitely the community itself, as we're here tonight on the Chamber of Commerce. So, being an ear and making good decisions on their behalf as well to support them. So.
Thank you very much. The next question will be about communication with ward residents. Would either of you be willing to meet with ward residents through regularly scheduled town halls to discuss their grassroots concerns? We'll start with Tony and then go to Everett. So Tony, your answer.
Absolutely, and again, I've been saying that with the residents on the doorstep. I hope this is not the last time we talk. It gives me a brief moment to kind of interact with them, but I think it's more so as my background involves representing union members in this case, but always hearing from the residents, always taking their considerations into heart and applying those into the decisions we make. So I think it's crucial that we continue to have this dialogue. I'm not suggesting maybe monthly, but if that's what it takes, it's important that we hear from all residents and their concerns and issues are addressed appropriately. So a strong representation is important.
Thank you very much, Tony. And Everett, your response.
Thank you, Jason. When we started the Midtown Neighborhood Watch back in 2017, we had various town hall meetings that were attended by either Suzanne Stubbs, the bylaw manager at the time, Deputy Chief Stonechild, and other members of the Prince Albert Police Service. I've had my regular Friday coffee catch-ups with residents for the better part of the last 2 years, where residents review the agenda with me. They provide input, they provide feedback, not just during those face-to-face meetings, but via various Facebook groups. Social media is obviously a very important part of communication with residents. But yes, if there was a need for a monthly town hall or a quarterly town hall, trust me, I would be there in full attendance. And if that's something that the residents expect from us as their elected official, yes, let's have those. We've seen numbers up and down for our coffee catch-up. Sometimes I was there on my own. Sometimes we had 5. Sometimes we had 12 people. But what I am proud of through all the activities that we as a community have engaged in over the last 4 years is the fact that we are a more connected community. We do know our neighbors, and people are not afraid to speak up, to call, to email, to message, to text. And that's part of that continual engagement, which hopefully we can accelerate through regular community town halls.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for those answers. We'll now give you guys 1 minute each to make your pitch to Prince Albert voters. We're going to start with Everett, and then we'll end with Tony. So Everett, go ahead. You have.
Thank you, Jason. It's been an incredible 4 years. It's been a tough 4 years. It's been a rewarding 4 years. I'm extremely, extremely humble to have served as the representative for residents of Ward 3 for the last 4 years. I'm very proud of everything that we've accomplished and how we have come together as a community. I will continue to advocate for every single resident, whether it's one resident, 5, 10, a block, a street, a subdivision, or the entire community. That's what we're there for as elected officials, is to listen to our constituents and to convey those communications at City Hall. We're there to make the tough decision. We're there to advise our residents through the process. And on very important matters, we are there to help them get it onto the agenda for an upcoming executive committee or city council meeting. My name is Everett Botha. It's been an honor to be the representative for the last 4 years, and I humbly ask for your vote in the upcoming municipal election.
Thank you very much, Everett. And we'll end with you, Tony. You have 1 minute.
Well, thank you again, Jason. So I just want to, I'm happy to be here tonight, and I want to say, hello to those who I haven't met yet, but I would like to thank all those in attendance tonight, as I mentioned, and for your time, and for some of the other candidates sharing the vision of the city of Prince Albert. Best of luck to all of you tonight. I won't hear from some, but Prince Albert is my home, and I've been here for 23 years. My daughters attend school here. We support and shop our local grocery stores here. Our roots are here in Prince Albert. I feel very invested in the city, and not only for me and my family, but for all the residents just like me. So one of the things I think it's important that I'd like to be a voice for Ward 3 and represent, but also to be a voice for the Indigenous community. I feel that it's seriously lacking within this council, and it'd be nice to have some representation and perspective of First Nations, Métis, Indigenous folks on council. So I hope you come out and vote, and I do feel that a municipality's job is to bring residents together and bring out the best in people. So vote for change, vote for Tony Head.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us tonight. That's all for Ward 3. We're going to have a 90-second break, and then we'll be back with our candidates in Ward 4, so stay tuned. Thanks. Okay. So what do you want me to do for Ward 4?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Sorry, everyone. Welcome back and welcome to our Ward 4 candidates. Just before we get started with them and the questions, we're running about 10 minutes ahead of schedule. I guess the candidates from Wards 1, 2, and 3 are particularly articulate in getting their points across. So we have about, we're ahead of schedule by about 10 minutes. So for all the candidates from Ward 5, Ward 6, and so on, if you guys want to sign in sooner rather than later, just because we are running ahead of schedule, then we can make sure that we keep running smoothly. So once again, welcome back. We've got our incumbent Ward 4 Councillor Don Cody here, along with challengers Myra Lewis and Margaret Duncombe. We're going to give each of them 1 minute to introduce themselves and describe their platform, and then we'll get into questions. We'll start with Don, and then we'll go to Myra and then Margaret. So first of all, Mr. Cody, you have the floor.
What are we supposed to do here?
Nothing. You can't do anything, Don, until he presses the button. Just maybe put your hand up. And
sorry, Don, you're unmuted, and you've got 1 minute to talk about your platform.
You can point to your ear.
Can you hear us, Don? I don't think you can. I guess we'll start with Myra then. Are you okay going? And we'll try and get our technical difficulties in line so that we can hear Don. Myra, are you okay starting?
Good evening, and thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for giving us this platform to speak to the voters. I am Myra Lewis, and I'm running to be councillor for Ward 4 because I believe business as usual is not working. As I make my way through my ward talking to the residents, I keep hearing how frustrated they are with the workings at City Hall. Most importantly, they tell me they don't know much about what goes on. For example, while people are excited about the new rec center, they feel they've been left out of the decision, were provided very little information, and consequently have a lot of discomfort about the land deal. The city is facing many issues such as poverty, crime, gang violence, and infrastructure issues, to name a few, and all this in a world changed dramatically by COVID-19. Disconnect between city government and the population is not acceptable. We need a fresh perspective. We need new ideas. We need people willing to consult and collaborate. We need a transparent city council that understands their job is to represent the needs and views of their constituents. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Myra. And we'll head to Margaret next. You've got 1 minute to introduce yourself and describe your platform.
Okay, thank you very much. As ways of introduction, I just want to let you know that I have lived and come from Saskatchewan. If you fold a map of Prince Albert and then you open it up and you put your finger right in the middle, that's where the city of Prince Albert is. And I believe it's the heart of the province. I have lived and worked north of Prince Albert, south of Prince Albert, east and west. And it's always been my choice and my ultimate goal to come back here, which is what I've done. PA is a permanent home. It's where I live. It's where I've retired. I know through working in sport, culture, and recreation that people in our community want the very best for their families, their children, and their neighborhoods. And that's why I've become involved, and that's why I hope to be elected on City Council.
Thank you very much, Margaret. And now we'll go to Don Cody. Don, you got 1 minute to tell us a bit about yourself and your platform.
He's asking.
Well, I can't hear a thing you're saying, Jason. I'll speak anyway, I guess, in spite of the fact I can't hear you. Thank you ever so much for having us here. Thanks to the Chamber of Commerce for putting on this forum. I think it's great. I'm running again because I think it's necessary for me to say to the community, I will help you out at this particular time when COVID-19 has struck us with more than heavy weights, that's for sure. And as a result of that, COVID, I think you need to have the kind of experience that's necessary to plan ahead, to do the kinds of things you need to make this community great. I have had a lot of experience. I've been in government. I've been a businessman for 22 years. And as a result of all of those things, I think I can make a contribution. I have made a contribution, and I want to continue making a contribution. And I think all one can do is put your best foot forward at all times, listen to the public, and go from there.
Thank you very much, Don. We'll move on to our questions now. The first question is, it's a bit of a A and a B two-parter. For the incumbent, Don Cody, we're going to ask you what specifically you think you've done for the city as a councillor over the last 4 years to warrant re-election. And for our two challengers here, we're going to ask you what are your top two goals that you would hope to accomplish if you were elected. So we're going to start with Mira, and then we'll go to Margaret, and then we'll finish with Don. So Mira, you have 90 seconds. Just tell us a little bit about your two goals heading into the next 4 years.
Well, I think my very first goal would be to work on crime reduction, and crime reduction in identifying the core issues and dealing with those. So I think crime can only be dealt with if you deal with poverty, if you deal with homelessness, if you look at addictions and all the issues surrounding addictions, mental health, and put in supports for people. Without reducing crime, nothing else will work. What I've heard from residents on the doorstep is that there's no point in beautifying the city or putting new services in if people are too scared to use the services that are there. For example, the riverbank. Many people have told me that they're scared to use the trail along the riverbank. People are scared to go downtown. So crime reduction is definitely one of my priorities. The other priority is spending in City Hall. I think that we need to open up the books. We need to look at how spending happens at City Hall. And I think City Council needs to have more of an overview over what happens at City Hall, because I think there's a lot of funds that could be freed up for some of the initiatives that are being talked about tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mira. And now we'll go to Margaret. You have 90 seconds. Your two goals if you're elected in the next 4 years.
I think one of my basic goals is to see a real pride and love of Prince Albert come back to everyone. I think that we need to see the revitalization of downtown, and that can be done by investing in businesses and getting a plan and following it. We need to attract businesses to the community and make it happen. So for sure, revitalization of the downtown, which also impacts the crime. I totally agree with Myra that crime is an issue. I've heard it when I've gone from door to door. People are concerned. They want safety in the community, and that's right. But I also agree that the root cause is poverty. We have homelessness. We have addictions. We have to work together in partnership with the people that are doing really good work on the ground level. I think City Council has a role to play with that. And so that would definitely be one of my priorities as well.
Thank you very much, Margaret. And then we'll go to Don Cody, the incumbent. Don, what are some of the things over the last 4 years that you've done that you think warrants voters sending you back to office for another term? Thank you very much, Margaret. And then we'll go to Don Cody, the incumbent. Don, what are some of the things over the last 4 years that you've done that you think warrants voters sending you back to office for another term? Thank you very much, Margaret.
Well, there's a lot of things that we've done.
Don Cody, the incumbent. Don,
there's a lot of things that we've done, and it's a lot that can hardly be announced in any 90 seconds clip. But if you look at the city of Prince Albert, we've done tremendous amount of paving. We've looked at the financial situation, and our finances are in good shape. We have all the necessary reserves that we have. This is one of the things we've done in the past 8 years, 10, 12 years, is that we've said, look, we need to have reserves because we're going to buy a piece of equipment. We want to have it paid for and the like of that. We've done paving. We've done infrastructure. We've done a lot of infrastructure. If there's one thing we haven't done probably all enough yet, and we're certainly working on that, is crime prevention. We need to work on crime prevention. I think we have a great professional police force, one of the best in the country, and I think they're doing their level best, but you know they can't do it alone. We need provincial federal funds, we need provincial federal help, and if you have that help, there's no question about that you can fight crime a lot easier. I agree with one of the things Margaret said. Poverty is an issue. There's no question about that. But at the same time, poverty, again, just like homelessness and all of those measures, we cannot do those alone. One city, one person, one group does not do these things alone. You have to fight them with concert with all other people.
Thank you very much for your answers. We'll get on to our next question, which is about retail space on Central Avenue. There are empty retail locations along Central Avenue and in the downtown core year after year, while more retail space continues to be built in other areas of the city. How would you address bringing back business down to Central Avenue? We're going to start with Margaret, and then we'll go to Dawn, and then we'll go to Mira. So Margaret, your response.
I totally believe that our Central Avenue can be completely revitalized. And I think that we need to not have empty spaces. If it means initially that we bring some artists and some people in and use the spaces, that's great. I think that the model of what the city of Moose Jaw did to begin with one attraction, and it may begin with the university, but we need to build on that. We need initiatives to get small businesses growing up in the city, and we need to form our bylaws, but basically, what we really need to do is make sure that we have a vision for the downtown and that we get and attract retail businesses going in the downtown. It can be vibrant. It's happened in Moose Jaw. People don't drive by anymore. It's a destination. And so I believe there's so much heritage and so much opportunity to revitalize our downtown that it can happen.
Thank you very much for that response, Margaret. And we'll go to Dawn. Same question to you.
Okay, so
if you're asking me next, I'll answer, but you know I can't hear you, so it's difficult here. But revitalization of downtown Prince Albert is very important to us. We have already said through a big study that we've done that we are going to revitalize the downtown. We're going to do a lot of things. There's such things as how do you want to park? We've asked the business community, we asked a lot of people in a survey, how do you want us to structure the downtown? And certainly there's studies done, and some say we should have two-way streets. Well, should we or not? Some say let's have angled parking. Should we or not? There's all of those things. But I think what we need to do, we need to listen to the business community. We need to listen to the people. We shouldn't be making those decisions on our own as a group of councillors or a mayor. What we want to do is listen to the public. And the public is important to me. And I believe if we listen to the public, they will tell us what they want. We have a beautiful, beautiful riverbank, one of the greatest riverbanks in the country.
Dawn. Now start from scratch.
Why?
You're on now.
You mean to tell me that I'm not on? If you're asking me next, I'll answer.
No, you're on, Dawn. You're on. You got 30 seconds.
It's very important.
I guess we'll move on
No
to
idea what's going on.
yeah, we'll move on to Mira for her response. Mira, you got 90 seconds. Your thoughts on revitalizing the downtown there?
Well, as Dawn just said, there has been a study done to find out how to revitalize downtown. But going back to my previous answer, like all the designs and all the projects that will be done down there won't matter if people are too scared to go there. So again, the issues that are in the downtown core, they need to be dealt with. The homelessness, the drug abuse, the crime that's down there, it needs to be dealt with. And it needs to be dealt with by going to the root causes, as I've said before. As Don said, I agree with him completely. You need to talk to the people that are there, the businesses that have left. I'm sure they know exactly why they left. And I suspect that they know how the issues could be fixed and what they needed to be able to be successful there. So speaking with the businesses that are there, speaking with the businesses that have left. But I know that it's not an easy solution and, off the cuff in 90 seconds, next to impossible to deal with. But in my experience, downtowns in smaller cities in Western Canada, trying to make them successful is difficult. But I think having people live downtown is a thing that would work because people don't typically live in downtown areas in small cities. So maybe that's something that needs to be done. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your answers on that question. Our next question is about crime. If elected, what suggestions or policies would you make or promote that would best address crime concerns raised by residents and businesses around Prince Albert? We're going to start with Dawn first, and then we'll go to Mira and Margaret. So Dawn, your response, what would you do to address crime concerns in PA? By residents and businesses around Prince Albert. We're going to start.
That, and like I said before, I said we do have a professional police force. We've got a great police chief, we've got a great vice chief in Jason Stonechild, and we've got good policemen out there. But policemen alone cannot solve crime. That's for sure. They can do what they can for crime. There's no doubt about that. More boots on the road makes a difference, no doubt about that. The bicycles in downtown Prince Albert has made a difference. There's no question about that. But the real issues here is, why is there so much crime? Why is there so much crime? It's got to do with alcohol. It's got to do with drugs. It's got to do with poverty. It's got to do homelessness. That's where the issues are. And there's no city on earth will look after this issue alone. We need our partners in the Grand Council. We need our partners in the Chamber of Commerce. We need our partners in the Métis Association. We need our partners in the provincial and federal governments. That's what we need to do. We need to partner with all of these people. Once we partner with all of these people, I'm sure that we can tackle it as best we can. But I can tell you right now, it'll be a long time coming. I'm a guy who believes in positive action. Positive action. And I don't like to always talk about the great crime that's in Prince Albert. If I were a person moving to this city, I wouldn't come here if that's the case, because we're always talking about how bad the crime is. It's not nearly as bad as I think people think it is, but at the same time, it is serious.
Thank you very much, Dawn. Next up is Mira, your response.
Well, I do agree that it is a complicated issue, that it won't be easily resolved and it won't be resolved quickly. Partnerships are necessary. I think homelessness and poverty are at the root of the problem. I think homelessness and poverty and being disenfranchised, not having had the supports from childhood, all of these things come together and they cause people to resort to crime. I think all that needs to be looked at. There need to be programs for young people to stop them from getting into crime to begin with. There need to be supports before people start resorting to crime, and there need to be supports for people after. The partnerships, they absolutely need to be in place. But I don't believe in passing the buck. I don't think that making excuses will make anything go away. I don't think we can say the problem isn't that bad, because if we talk about what's bad, people won't come here. People will come here and they will see how bad it is. People can see on the Maclean's list of Canada's most dangerous cities that we're number 4. 10 years ago, we weren't on the top 10. Now we're number 4. So I think we need to assess what has happened, what has gone wrong, and look at how to fix it, how to reverse it. What partnerships we need to make. The City of Medicine has eliminated homelessness. There's a plan in Regina. These resources exist. We need to We need to access them. We need to access the partnerships. We need to talk to whoever we need to talk to, and we need to come up with a plan for Prince Albert to deal with the issue. And I do agree, it'll take a long time. It didn't break overnight. It's not going to get fixed overnight.
Thank you for your response, Mira. And Margaret, you get the last word on this. Go ahead.
Well, I would just like to say that as I have, can you hear me? Okay, I'd just like to say that as I've walked through the neighborhoods visiting people, that I'm seeing decorations out for Halloween. I'm seeing vibrant neighborhoods, children playing out on the street. So I do think, and I agree with Dawn, that we need to acknowledge that crime is an issue. And I think that we need to take measures to support our police. And for sure, we need to get community involvement through Neighborhood Watch and those kind of programs. But I also think that we need to build the pride and not be so afraid of crime that we don't have our children playing on the street or that we don't get involved in the community. So it's a very fine line. We need to support the police. We need community involvement. For sure, I agree with Myra that many of these questions are related to poverty and all sorts of issues like that, which we need to work in partnerships with. So I would really like to see us take a positive, collective partnership approach to supporting our police and tackling crime, knowing that we can make a difference and we can go down off of that list of the top 10 crime cities in Canada.
Thank you very much for those responses. We'll go to our next question, which is about communication with your constituents. A quick yes or no. If elected, would you be willing to meet with ward residents through regularly scheduled town halls to discuss their grassroots concerns? We'll start with Mira, and then we'll go to Margaret and Dawn. So Mira, your response.
Absolutely. And maybe not just community meetings, community cleanups. What people tell me on the doorsteps is that they're craving community connections, however that comes. So absolutely, I would be excited to have those meetings. There's several apps, and one of them is called Neighborhood Meet or Neighborhoods. In my neighborhood here on Carr Crescent and Albright Crescent, people are using the app and staying in touch that way. So there's so many ways. But when it comes to meetings with constituents, not just meetings where people bring concerns, but also reporting back. I think reporting back is incredibly important. You know, having the police chief or having the police report on what's going on in the neighborhood, reporting back from council, reporting back on issues and what's going on with them that residents have brought to me. Having community leaders come and report back to the neighbors or to the constituents, and having the constituents have the ability to raise issues as well.
Thank you very much for that response, Mira. Margaret, you're up next. Your thoughts.
No doubt that community engagement, community involvement at the neighborhood level is absolutely imperative to having a healthy community. Whether that takes place in a town hall meeting or whether that's through our communication with community schools and community associations, community clubs. I think it would be nice to have a formal organization where people knew that they worked directly through to the city, where the city listened to people who perhaps were represented on a community school or community association to speak on their behalf. But there is absolutely no doubt that the first priority of a councillor is to be connected to the community and to hear what their issues are and to be accountable back to them.
Thank you very much for that response, Margaret. And Dawn, you get the last word on this. Your thoughts.
Well, there's no question about that connecting with your community is important. We always do that as far as I'm concerned. We've had neighborhood meetings here on several occasions. I know we had 2 or 3 great meetings about the 1 in 500 flood zone, and which were very successful on my part. And it's one of the things that I was able to fight for tooth and nail and made quite a lot of difference. And those are the kind of meetings that are very important because the public needs to be involved in telling me what decisions they want me to make and to the decisions they want me to talk about in council. I've done that for them, and I'll continue to do that for them. I know that we've had a neighborhood watch meeting once. We have not got it off the ground as well as some of the other wards have, but certainly that's one of the things we'll be doing right after the election again, is starting up the neighborhood watch meeting to see if we can get more people involved. And I think the more people you involve, the better it'll be. I'm certainly more than happy to work with anyone who wishes to work with me, and that's not been a problem in the past. And I look forward to serving the people of Ward 4 for another 4 years, and also working closely with the mayor and council, and working on behalf of the people of the city of Prince Albert.
Thank you very much, Don, and thank you to all three of our candidates for coming out and answering a few questions today. Before we let them go, we'll give them each 1 minute to make their pitch to Prince Albert voters. We're going to start with Don Cody, and then we'll go to Mira and then to Margaret. So first of all, Don, you got 1 minute. What do you have to say to Prince Albert voters? We'll give them each 1 minute to make their pitch to Prince Albert voters. We're going to start with Don Cody, and then we'll go to Mira and then to Margaret. So, first of all.
Well, thank you very much, Jason, and it was a pleasure being here with you again, as we see you in City Hall all the time. I'm certainly willing to work with my people in the ward. I think there's a lot of things to be done. I know that with COVID-19, it's been a difficult time for the city of Prince Albert. We've had a tough time with our employees. They've had to be, some were laid off. Some didn't have an opportunity to go to work, and it's been difficult, a very difficult time. And I think that's the kind of thing that I can bring to the table. I think you need the kind of experience that'll help those who need it, and I'm prepared to do all I can to make this ward, to make this city the best city in the country. And I think that with the years of experience that I have in government, with the years of experience I have in business, and in the city, mayor and councillor, I think I can do just that, and I'd be more than happy to serve again for another 4 years.
Thank you very much, Don. Mira, you're up next. You have 1 minute.
So as I've said before, I've spent several weeks on doorsteps talking to residents about their priorities, and over, crime has been identified as a huge problem, along with spending at City Hall and council transparency and consultation. The next city council must work on underlying issues, if any headways to be made, such as poverty and homelessness reduction and mental health and addiction services. I want to see a city council which oversees the spending at City Hall, and I want to tighten the purse strings to eliminate wasteful spending and free up funds to reduce taxes or increase services. I'm asking residents of Ward 4 to vote for me, because I will work not just for them, but with them to find real solutions and create a city we can all be proud of. Thank you very much, and see you on the doorsteps.
Thank you very much, Mira. And last but not least, we'll go to Margaret. You got 1 minute.
I just want to speak to the experience that I have as a daughter, mother, and a partner to my husband for 46 years. I think I understand relationships. I've worked for the City of Regina, the City of Saskatoon, volunteered with the City of PA. I believe that I understand municipal governance. I've worked for sport, culture, and recreation and tourism. I know how to form partnerships. I know how to plan, and I know how to make decisions. I've worked with my mother in terms of running her private business. I understand small business, and I understand that we need to have more economic building in our community. I don't come with an agenda. I come because I chose to live in Prince Albert. I love this city. I'm very proud of it. And I think that my beliefs and my values are the same ones that people in Ward 4 have and the citizens of Prince Albert. So I would truly appreciate the opportunity to be on council on their behalf.
Thank you very much, Margaret. And thank you again to all of our candidates in Ward 4. We're going to have another 90-second break, and then we'll be back with our candidates in Ward 5. So stay tuned. Sorry about that, folks. We're back with our Ward 5 candidates here today. We've got the incumbent Dennis Ogrodnik and the challenger Don Wood. Thank you very much both for joining us tonight. We're going to start by giving you each 1 minute to introduce yourselves and then move on into questions. We'll start with Dennis and then go to Don. So Dennis, go ahead. You've got 1 minute.
Chamber. Thank you, Jason. I'd like to thank the Chamber for hosting this forum tonight, and nice to meet you also, Don Wood. My name is Dennis Ogrodnik. I was born and raised in Prince Albert, and for the past 21 years, I've lived in Ward 5. I was a teacher by profession. I taught 36 years, retired twice, and just recently took a part-time contract at the Prince Albert Multicultural Center where I teach newcomers English for the workplace. Throughout my time, I've been a volunteer in the community, and I volunteered on many different committees in my profession as well as in the community, volunteered at many sporting events, the Historical Society, etc. And it was 4 years ago that I was first elected, and I was elected because I said I would be your voice at City Hall. And I'm once again asking the residents of Ward 5 to send me back to City Hall to be their representative and their voice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Don, the next, you're up. You have 1 minute.
Thanks, Jason. Good evening, Jason. Good evening, Dennis. Nice to see you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Don Wood, and I am running for Prince Albert City Council in Ward 5. I moved to PA almost 20 years ago and have seen how our city has grown and prospered despite some setbacks. I would like your support on November 9th to continue that growth. I bring a diverse background to council, which I believe will benefit us all in the long run. My post-secondary education was studying government. I have worked for both municipal and provincial levels of government while in PA, and I also owned and operated a successful small business employing Prince Albert residents. If you ever saw the big white stretch limousines running around town, that was us. I would love the opportunity to work collaboratively with you, my fellow citizens, and with a great group of councillors to make our city the strong, proud, safe city I know it can be. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for the opening statements. We'll go right into questions. The first one is about business growth in Prince Albert. What do you feel are the greatest opportunities and challenges for business growth and expansion in Prince Albert? We'll start with Don, and then we'll go to Dennis for the responses. So, Don, you're up first. Your response.
Thanks, Jason. Having been a former business owner, I could see the challenges. They actually did a write-up on me in the PA Herald at the time and talked about the rough road that I had, no pun intended, with getting the limousine business started. There are some roadblocks. I think we could actually, as a city, put together something to encourage small business and to help people. What I always tried to push for was even a package that you could put together to give people an idea of what they're going to run into when they're trying to create a small business. Like I said, I had several hurdles. It took me a while to get my business going, but I got it going and successfully managed the business for a few years, employing a few people in town. We can see that it's a hub for business because we've seen how Cornerstone has grown over the years. People do want to come to PA. We just have to make it a more attractive city. And I think if we work together with our provincial and federal partners and talk to the people downtown, just talk to the businesses like you're talking to me, and say, what is it that you need to be successful in this town? It's a great town. We've got lots of draws, and I think we can make it better in the long run. We just need to get our heads together and all come together and work on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Don. Dennis, your response.
Okay, thank you for the question, Jason. As a city councillor, we looked at this exact question or similar question of what do we do to help business succeed in Prince Albert? And so what we did this last year was we came up with a different taxation rate based on the value, assessed value of the business. And we have 5 categories now. So the smaller the business, the less they will be paying in taxes. large box will survive, and we have a tax rate for them. So this allows us to help support those pop businesses in Prince Albert that sometimes do struggle, and right now our vote in favor of that program, and through our budget process, and voted in favor of the budget. So that's one thing that we were able to pass. The other thing that I'm very proud of is, again, another budget item was the declining tax rollback program. And what that is, that's a program for businesses that want to build. So for example, the new PV Mart on 15th Street, we are giving them a tax break for that development for 5 years. So in the first year, they won't be paying. And the second year, it's 25%.
Thank you very much, Dennis. We're going to move on to our next question now. It's about crime rates in Prince Albert. If elected, what are some of the suggestions and policies you would bring forward to best address
for our small business?
Best address crime rate concerns raised by residents and local businesses. We're going to start with Dennis, and then we'll go to Don. So Dennis, you're up first. Go ahead.
Okay, this is a big question for 90 seconds, so I hope I can get in as much as I want to say on this particular topic. But we do have a great Prince Albert Police Service in Prince Albert here. They have two new teams that have been established, the Integrated Crime Reduction Team and the Street Enforcement Team. Those two teams have tackled violent crime, gangs, gun crime, and crime. And I fully support those teams, and I have fully supported the police budget, and move forward, continue to support the police budget, in helping the police officers reduce those types of crime. But more importantly, to address the causes of crime, we need to continue to support our police officers that are dealing with the proactive measures that are put in place by our police force right now that are trying to reduce those crimes. For example, we have the police crisis team. Those particular team is working with mental health workers in dealing with some of the issues that are revolving around those issues. We need police unit. Those are our police officers, two police officers that go to schools, talk to youth, make those connections, make those positive connections. They patrol the Rotary Trail, downtown core, public events, etc. That's what it is. It's proactive policing.
Thank you very much for your response, Dennis. We'll now go to Don. Your thoughts on this topic.
Thanks, Jason. Completely agree with Dennis. This idea of, and I'll just come out and say it, of defunding the police just drives me crazy. To me, you defund the police, you end up with anarchy. And we need to support our police force. And I personally saying, and not just because I'm running for this position, that our police force is doing a fantastic job. I've had nothing but good reviews about the local police department, and my hat's off to them and the job that they have to do. So defunding to me is a ridiculous idea. I heard people talking about incentives for people having security systems. I'd love to work out something like that where people have security systems in their house and you get some sort of incentive for having that. I have one in mine, and I would never be without it. Rural and Urban Crime Watch programs where people get together. I have some good friends that live out in the country, and they're having a big problem right now. The crime rate seems to have gone up out there. So if we can try to organize people to get these crime watch groups together, I think that's a great thing. It definitely is a problem, and as Dennis said, it's not something you can talk about in 90 seconds. I really want to get in and get my feet wet in council, and then I can listen to the people of our neighborhood, of our ward, and we'll work together to try and come up with solutions. Thank you.
Well, thank you to our two candidates for trying to address the issue anyway in 90 seconds as best they could. Our next question is about COVID-19 pandemic and business here in Prince Albert. For each candidate, what do you think the city can do to assist businesses who have suffered economically from the COVID-19 shutdown while also balancing the budget? We'll start with Don and then we'll go to Dennis. So Don, your response.
It's really a tough one. Dennis is probably obviously going to have a better idea on this one, having had some time in on council already. And that's what I've been saying to the people that I've been talking to. It's hard to address some of these issues when you don't know what exactly the role of council is, what we can do. Again, I've heard about incentives to try and keep small business going, some taxation breaks. It's really, plus it's still an open thing. We don't know how long this thing is going to last. You know, we hear projections anywhere from, they're looking at, Trump is mentioning that we may have a vaccine within the next couple months. And I've heard other people say that it could drag on for 10 years. Local business isn't going to survive for 10 years. We have to come together with a plan. And this is another one where I think we're going to have to bring together provincial and federal government. We're going to have to get some organization with all the parties involved. And or we're going to have a big issue on top of what I think is going to be a huge mental health issue. I think we're going to have a huge business issue as well. As was mentioned before, you know, the big businesses have been able to stay open and have been successful. But my place that cut my hair, they closed down. The doors are closed, they're gone. So we really need to dig into this one. This is going to be huge.
Thank you very much for your response, Don. And Dennis, we'll put the question to you. Dennis, are you there?
Thank you for the question. Yeah, COVID has hurt businesses, families, community organizations, our nonprofits in town. I'm here. Can you hear me? Hello? Hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Jason, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Dennis.
Okay, thank you. I'll start again. Okay. Thank you for the question. Okay, well, I thought you couldn't hear me there. Thank you for the question. Okay. Yeah, COVID has hurt businesses. It's hurt family profits. It's hurt community groups. It has hurt, you know, all the people in Prince Albert, our sport teams, etc. And so what we need to do as a city council, and what we did do, is we tax deferral program, where we had, I think, 85 or something like that businesses and people that applied to have their taxes deferred without a penalty. And that's just a little boost that it gives that business opportunity to get their taxes paid and not penalty law levied towards them. The other thing that we need to do as a city and as residents is shop local and support our local businesses. It's these small businesses that drive our economy, our local economy. And so if we buy and promote buying and not going and buying from Amazon, etc., and online, I mean, that'll help our small businesses as well get through this. As Don said, I don't know how long this is going to last. And as a council, if I'm reelected, I'm going to work with our businesses and our business community and make that we as a city provide those incentives for them so that they can survive. Be a little bit more gentle on them in our taxation. Promote the purchase.
Thank you very much for your response, Dennis. We're going to move on to the next question. It's about communication with your constituents and your wards. Quick yes or no, would you be willing to meet with ward residents through regularly scheduled town halls to discuss the grassroots concerns? We're going to start with Dennis, and then we'll go on to Don. So Dennis, your response. Sorry, Dennis, we're going to stop you because we can't hear your audio. We're having troubles hearing what you're saying, so we're just going to go start with
Thank you for
Don,
the question.
and then we'll come back to you.
If you want to get grassroots concerns, that's the one-on-one. The other concerns that be more global, though, that's for our town hall. And I would be very much in favor of that. I attended our community meetings, and it was through those community meetings before I was a counselor that I was encouraged by some residents there. Well, I don't know why you can't hear me.
Yeah, we'll come back to you, Dennis, and try again. We'll go to Don first, and we'll try and get our technical difficulties sorted out. But we'll come back to you. So Don, we'll go to you first, and yeah, your response.
Thanks, Jason. Sorry you're having issues there, Dennis. Yes, absolutely. This is something I really want to do, and one of the big reasons being is that I would be brand new to council. And the platform that I put out is I'm not there to push a personal agenda. That's not what I want to do. I want to push for what the people of Ward 5 and the people of PA in general want. And it's a common issue. If you listen to the rest of the people that have been talking on here, the issues are all fairly common. It's a string of the same type of thing. It's crime and safety. It's economic growth. It's looking after our elderly and our children, and encouraging our children to stay in PA once they finish their education. So yes, absolutely. I would love nothing better than to have a monthly town hall meeting where we all get together, the residents and I, and we just sit and have a chat. I want this to be informal. It's not the people talking to their counselor. It's just a bunch of us getting together and having a chat. And that's when you have the best information come out, is when you just sit around with a cup of coffee with the folks and let's just get everything out on the table. Let's talk. Because that's the stuff I want to bring back. I'm not coming in saying I'm going to build you a new bridge, I'm going to build you a new hospital. I don't know what my roles are until I actually get in there and get my feet wet. So that's what I want to do. Get in, get my feet wet, represent the people of the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Don. Dennis, we'll give you your full 90 seconds. If you want to start your response over, go ahead.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me? Thumbs up. Can you hear me? Thumbs up. Oh man. Okay, can you hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Well, I'm going to talk. Okay, I totally agree with having community meetings. Community are global kinds of issues and events. That's what they're for. The one-on-one doorstep kinds of conversations, that's what's really important. And that's what I did and will do and continue. When I first got elected, that's what I did. Every summer, I went around and I was talking. Thank you. Good, thanks. I was talking and visiting with residents and asking for their opinions on things that City Hall is doing well, things that City Hall needs to improve on. What do I need to do? What do I need to improve on? And that's what I will continue to do. And so those kinds of meetings are important. The community meetings that I attended and hosted are also important. Whenever there's an issue in the ward, for example, a care home coming in, I held meetings and I went door to door and asked residents. A walkway closure was proposed. I went to the neighbors and talked. I have one coming up, and that's what I told the neighbors. The walkway closed. There's a process. We'll process and we'll go through it together. We'll consult with all of the residents in that area, and then we'll make a decision based on what the residents want. That's what I've done, and that's what I will continue to do. So consultation is very important. Thank you. I hope you heard this.
Yes, we did. We caught. I think we caught all of it. So, thank you very much, Dennis. That's it for questions. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time tonight. Before you go, we'll give you 1 minute to just summarize your platforms, make your pitch to Prince Albert voters. We're going to start with Don. We'll end with Dennis. So go ahead, Don. You've got 1 minute.
Thanks again, Jason, and thanks, Dennis, for the conversation here tonight. It's been very interesting. I've always admired how people of various backgrounds can come together and function as a team. Over the years, I've had the great honor of working on some amazing teams on many levels in both the public and private sectors. In order for a city to function effectively and make positive, solid decisions for its citizens, we have to have a team that can work collaboratively. That is my goal. To work with the council that even though they will naturally have differences of opinion, they can still function as a well-oiled machine and bring the wishes of the residents to light. Sometimes change is needed in order to make that machine run a little bit better, work out the kinks, if you will. On November 9th, I ask you to make a change and give me the opportunity to get this machine going the way we all want and need it to go. Thank you, be well, and be safe.
Thank you very much, Don. Dennis, we'll go to you. You've got 1 minute.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity tonight to discuss my platform and my issues and my concerns with residents of the city. Basically, what I promised to do is what I promised last time when I was elected, is to make the city better for all citizens. I will vote for and for motions that deal with the betterment of the city of Prince Albert, for our seniors, for people with special needs. You know, I'm very proud of the fact that we expanded special transportation for our residents. And I would want us to continue to do that and expand it further and provide more funding for that. For our youth, I'm very proud of the fact that we're building a rec complex, phase 1 of 3 phases. We need the 88 acre site to do that, to make that an entertainment center. And so I'm very proud to be one of the 5 that voted in favor of that particular project. And also for families.
Sorry again, folks. Thank you very much, Dennis and Don, for your time. I really appreciate it. That's it for our segment on Ward 5. We'll move on to Ward 6 after a brief 90-second break. Welcome back, folks. We've got our two Ward 6 candidates here, Martin Ring and Blake Edwards. Thank you both, gentlemen, for joining us this evening. Before we get started with the questions, we're going to give each of you 1 minute to introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about your platforms. We'll start with Blake, who is the incumbent, and then we'll go to the challenger, Martin. So Blake, go ahead.
Thank you, Jason. Hello, I'm Blake Edwards. I live at 3042 Sherman Drive. My wife and I are raising 3 children, age 11, 13, and 16. And I'm just a huge supporter of everything they do. I'm seeking re-election in Ward 6 as city councillor. I'm a parole officer working at the Saskatchewan Penitentiary and worked in corrections for over 17 years. This experience has helped me have a strong, knowledgeable voice on the Board of Police Commissions. I completed my university degree in 1996 at the U of S. I've owned and operated a business for over 10 years in Prince Albert and certainly support the efforts of our local business. I chose to run for city council in 2016 because I have a passion for our city. I'm a people person, able to communicate with anyone, no matter who you are or what age. Everything I do is done with honesty and integrity to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Blake. Martin, you have 1 minute.
Thank you very much. And again, shout out to everybody that's put their name forward as candidates in this year's election. It's not easy to put yourself out there and be under the scrutiny of the public eye. And I've been here before. I was a former city councillor from 2006 through to 2016. So I served 10 years. So I have plenty of experience at the city council table. Born and raised here in the city of Prince Albert, lived in the ward for 35 years. I have 2 adult children, as well as now I've got just a beaming little granddaughter as well. So I want to make our community the best that it can be for not only my future, but the future of my new grandchild now as well.
Thank you very much, Martin. We'll head on to questions right now. Our first one is a bit of an A-B question for the incumbent, Blake Edwards. We'll just ask you to tell us a little bit about what you specifically have done for the city over the last 4 years that you think warrants re-election. And for Martin, if you're elected on November 9th, we'll ask you to tell us what your 2 biggest goals are that you'd hope to accomplish as city councillor. So we'll start with Martin, and then we'll go to Blake.
Well, thank you very much. I think having been on council previously for 10 years, I've had 4 years away, and I've been watching with great interest what's been happening within our community. I've remained very involved. I'm vice chair of Mont St. Joe's Care Home. I'm involved with Spark Theatre Company. I'm looking at different ways that we're going to be able to expand our city. I want to see us have fair economic development across the board, and that's probably one of the biggest challenges I think coming forward. Obviously, COVID-19 has thrown a real wrench into a lot of people's plans, both the city of Prince Albert as well as local businesses, and we have to try and find a way to assist those businesses to move them forward, at the same time keeping the fiscal responsibilities of the city of Prince Albert in check. For people to understand that a city cannot operate a deficit budget. We have to balance things. One of the key points will be managing our base taxes, what we're doing with our base tax money, making sure that we're spending that money where it's supposed to be spent, as well as focusing on our infrastructure and any of our funded reserves moving forward.
Thank you very much, Martin. Blake, you're up. What are some of the things that you've accomplished over the last 4 years that you think warrants being sent back to council for another term?
Thanks, Jason. Well, I definitely think that I'm a strong communicator. I listen to people. I'm into the community. I'm involved in many different organizations. I'm always listening to people. I'm an open ear and available to people all the time. What I brought to city council is I certainly have looked for tax fairness, which is lacked in our city. I led a charge on a minimum tax, for example. It's at $376 since 2006. And that disappointed me. Minimum tax at $376 does not go too far. I led the charge to raise that up to $576. And if we look at it overall with the police and fire budget, or the expense of the police and fire overall to all the properties, we're $1,800 a property if it's split equally. So we have a long way to tax fairness, and I led the charge on that. Weapons bylaw, I certainly led the charge on improving that weapons bylaw that was outdated in 1961. And we move forward to update it. Instead of having catapults in there, we included tasers that are more relevant, certainly to the day and age, and I just updated it. And again, just overall open to the people of Prince Albert, all people of Prince Albert. I've developed good rapport with the First Nations in the community and all organizations overall. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Blake. Our next question is about retail business in the downtown core and Central Avenue. There are empty retail locations sitting along Central Avenue year after year, while more retail space continues to be built in other areas of the city. If you were elected, how would you address bringing back business down to Central Avenue? We'll start with Blake first, and then we'll go to Martin. So Blake, go ahead.
Well, I think we're on our way to revitalization of downtown. I believe that the university is a game changer down there. I believe that we're going to see several different businesses that are going to come as a result of the university down there. I think we need some tax incentives as well. We need more police officers down there, certainly, to make people feel safe. Safety is key in downtown. I don't believe right now people feel safe. But do we have more events down there? We have more people. It's going to be all good. I think people are going to enjoy our downtown and our riverbank, but we need to make it feel safe. And I look forward to that. I really look forward to the university opening with a full-fledged group of people going in and out of there, and it's really going to drive the economy down there. And I really think it's a great thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Blake. Martin, the question's yours. Your thought?
Well, I think one of the things that we have to think of, and whether it's the mayor or whether it's us as councillors, we're not always the smartest people in the room, and we have to allow some of the experts to have some input. We've got a downtown business improvement district. We have to tap into those resources. We have to look at our Chamber of Commerce as an opportunity to use some of their expertise. One of the things that I haven't heard a whole lot about is where we're at with the Prince Albert Regional Economic Development Alliance. We need to tap into those resources. We're spending a lot of money on the PA Regional Economic Development Alliance, and we're not getting anything out of it yet. But there is some movement there. So I think that is something that we have to start looking at. I've spent a great deal of time lately, over the last 2 winters now, delivering groceries to our seniors and such downtown. I see seniors out for a walk almost every morning. When people talk about crime and what's happening in the downtown core, our seniors are going out for a walk every morning. They're not being hassled, and they just look around and they just enjoy their surroundings. Things can be better, though. There is no doubt, and we need to try to find ways to help them.
Thank you very much, Martin, for that response. Our next question is about crime in the community. If elected, what are some of the suggestions or policies that you would promote or bring forward to best address concerns about the crime rate that have been raised by Prince Albert residents and business owners? We'll start with Martin, and then we'll go to Blake. So Martin, go ahead.
Well, there's no doubt crime and the crime statistics are certainly at the forefront, and we hear lots about it. And, I guess I have to go back and I have to think, where are we at with our core and hub, our community mobilization initiatives that were started at the Prince Albert Police Services, I believe back in 2012. That was looking at the root problems. That was getting in where there's early signals that would allow us to have some intervention by support groups, not always police officers. It might be the social assistance groups that can go in and seek out what's happening in some of the family situations. I also think, though, that we have the ability, and we should be looking at tapping into some of the new technologies that are available. In my travels throughout the ward, delivering pamphlets and talking to folks. I cannot believe how many people have Ring doorbells or the Vivint doorbells and things like that. And I think those are things that we have to start tapping into. Share the information with your neighbors. I know when I installed mine, I let my neighbors know, you know what, I've got the doorbell and it's in place. And if you have a problem, let me know. We might be able to look at the video.
Thank you very much, Martin. Blake, your response.
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm certainly a believer that we need better discussions with our provincial and federal government. Prince Albert is a unique city. I've been saying it for years. We have different social issues than most cities, and social issues aren't fixed easily, but you need the resources to help. And the federal government needs to recognize us for who we are. And that's a unique city. So let's embrace it. We have those social issues. Let's deal with it. We need more addiction centers. We need more counseling to deal with the mental health issues that we have in our community. We need more police officers as well. But I don't believe that it should come on the backs of our taxpayers in the city. I believe that the federal government needs to recognize for who we are. We're not Moose Jaw. We have a different population. And with that population comes further social issues. And I really believe that we need to work with the Grand Council. We need to work with the Métis people of the city. We need to work with the federal government and the provincial government and city council and come up with a game plan of how we're going to change things. Certainly things need to change. And I think, again, the better communication within the government levels. Let's have the voices. Let's listen to the coaches out there as well and deal with these people that are dealing with the kids. Let's invite them in for a meeting. Let's have better communication overall. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Blake. We'll move on to our next question, which is about communication with your constituents. If elected, would you be willing to meet with ward residents through regularly scheduled town halls to discuss their grassroots concerns? We'll start with Blake and then we'll go to Martin. So Blake, go ahead.
Yeah, certainly meetings are very important to have strong communication. I personally hosted 2 large gatherings at the Carlton Park Community Club to deal with crime specifically. We had Jason Stonechild out to talk from the police department, and we had SCAN, Safer Communities and Neighborhoods, out to talk about the general crime. And what formed out of that was great communication and a neighborhood watch now in Ward 6 that has well over 200 people. And that is good communication. When there's somebody walking through our ward right now that's suspicious, believe me, there's eyes on it. And that came from communication and meetings. I also hosted a meeting in the park to deal with an age-old issue with poplar fuzz in Erickson Park. Had been dealt with. Residents were ticked off from some of the solutions. Well, let's cut all the trees down. Well, that's no good. We met with the residents. We invited the parks manager. We had a good open discussion. And what came out of that was 6 trees came down. Some neighbors were very happy because they didn't have fuzz on their barbecue any longer. And good communication occurred and positive things were a result of it. And absolutely, I'm big on community meetings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Blake. Martin, go ahead, your response.
Well, I would definitely support anything to do with getting together within the wards. And it's not just Ward 6, it's all the wards. But definitely bringing out that senior city administration team to meet with folks. It is something that we did start back in 2014, 2015. We went away from it through 2016 because it was an election year. Some people were afraid of the community meetings. Some people, don't expect to have a community meeting and it's all going to be a love fest and everybody's going to be patting you on the back. There's going to be some negatives. There's going to be some negative comments. There's going to be some comments that they don't like how you've been treating, certain issues. But you can't be afraid of that. That's part of the open communication piece. I definitely believe in them. I know that we had them when we did the annexation piece. We did some crime prevention pieces within the ward when I was on council as well, and it's definitely something that I fully support, and I think it is extremely important. And I always have my email is always available, and my phone number is as easy as it comes: 306-922-RING.
Thank you very much, Martin, and thank you very much to both of our candidates for agreeing to join us here tonight. We're going to give them each 1 minute to talk about their platforms and a little about themselves, give a kind of a closing speech before they go. We're going to give Blake an extra 30 seconds just because the audio was not good on his first response. So we're just going to give him a little bit of extra time if he wants it to kind of make a pitch because we couldn't hear a lot of it. But we're going to start with Martin and then we'll go to Blake. Martin, you got 1 minute. Just anything you want to say to the members of the
Well, again, thank you very much. And it's been a great opportunity and it's been fun actually listening to the other wards as well. And a lot of us obviously have the same problems or the same issues or the same questions that continue to come up. My focus obviously is going to be on the financial sides. I believe, once again, looking at our reserve fund management, looking at our base taxes, I agree 100%, Blake, that the base tax is one of the best things that we've ever brought in. And I certainly was very much a proponent of that. Back when I was on council, that's how we came up with the base tax. We wanted to bump it up as quickly as we could. And we didn't always have success with the other councillors around the table, but I agree 100%. It's something that has to be looked at. But we have to have some collaboration with all the people around the table, all the city councillors and the mayor. And no decision comes by one person. It's going to be a decision by council. So there's 9 of us that are going to be in on the decisions. We're not always going to agree, but we're going to have some great conversations.
Thank you very much, Martin. And Blake, you got 1 minute and 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Well, I certainly hope people can hear me. I've been getting texted lots that people can't hear me. So number one, public safety is definitely key to our city. I'm a strong proponent of making some changes to make people feel safe. Certainly, I mean, I've listened to our people and I've responded to their needs. I've brought the voices from the people in our ward and the overall city into city council. Communication is key, and working together can help build a strong, positive community. And that's what we need. I've certainly worked towards better things in our city. Our parks budget was very limited. We've increased our parks budget by over 300%, and that's necessary. We're going to see a big improvement here into AC Howard Park here right away, and that's big for the residents in there. There's lots of younger kids coming in and need to utilize that park. I certainly believe that we need some more tax fairness, and like Martin suggested, the base tax is there. We could certainly look at that as well. I think the minimum tax needs to come up and equalize that closer to help cover the police and fire cost to our city, which I said earlier, which you may not have heard, which is $1,800 per property, and our minimum tax is sitting at $576, which was just increased from $376 over the last 4 years. We need some more tax fairness in the city, and that will help offset some of the expenses in the city that our taxpayers have. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much to both Blake and Martin. And we're going to let you guys go. We'll be back with our last segment of the night in 90 seconds. That's where we're going to talk to our 2 candidates from Ward 7. Stay tuned. Hello, folks, and welcome back to our last segment of the night. We've got our two Ward 7 candidates here, and we have no incumbent this year. So Ward 7, you're going to have a new councillor regardless of what happens. Before we get to the questions, we're going to give both of them a chance to just introduce themselves and talk a little bit about their platforms for 1 minute. We're going to start with Dawn Kilmer, and then we'll go to Diana Wooden. So Dawn, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm Dawn. Hello to Southwood area and East Hill residents. Just a little bit about myself. I've lived here since 1980, married to Pete, 29 years teaching. 13 of those years, I was the principal at the largest high school in Saskatchewan. And it was like a little mini town. We had police officer, addiction counselor, mental health workers, students, teachers. So I've had a vast experience of leading people. I'm an extremely pragmatic person, and hello.
Thank you very much, Dawn.
Was that fast enough?
Diana, we'll go to you. The floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. I'm Diana Wooden, and I live in Ward 7. I've lived here for 20 years now with my husband, and we raised 3 kids here. I'm very passionate about my neighborhood and the place that I live. We've loved Prince Albert ever since we first moved here from the Great Canadian North in Churchill, Manitoba. We just love everything about Prince Albert, and I think that there's so much that I can bring to the table as far as working collaboratively with others. I do that now on a daily basis in my job, and so I just want to bring a new face and a fresh new look to City Council.
Well, thank you very much, Diana. We'll get to the questions here. The first one is about business in Prince Albert. If you were elected, or I guess, what do you feel are the greatest opportunities for Prince Albert businesses and also the greatest challenges that they face here in Prince Albert? We'll start with Diana, and then we'll go to Dawn. So Diana, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds. Go ahead.
I think one of the challenges right now for businesses, of course, is with COVID and the crisis that they faced with having to shut down and then reopen and then shut down. So there's so much uncertainty for small businesses right now. And if I were a small business owner, I'd be very worried about what's going to come next. This is their livelihood. So I think we need to be able to help small businesses grow in Prince Albert, actually. The 2016 census showed that 1 in every 4 people in the workforce in Prince Albert were over the age of 55. And so I think that we need to be able to figure out how to retain our young people in PA so that they can build businesses and so that they can contribute to the growth of Prince Albert. So retaining our younger people is hugely important to the development of our businesses in Prince Albert. I'm hoping that once I get down to City Hall that I can help to listen to small business owners, find out what their concerns are, and talk to them on an individual basis, because each person may have different needs, and so to help support them in that.
Thank you very much, Diana. We'll go to Dawn now. Your response.
The thing about business in Prince Albert, and I think the greatest opportunity that we have in Prince Albert, is we have a strong entrepreneurial spirit. And we have a wide variety of people who have had experiences in the business world and are really willing to share their ideas, their pitfalls, and their overall experiences with other people. And so I think there's a great opportunity here to bring people together for membership or mentorship programs and ideas like that. The challenges that our businesses are facing, though, is that people aren't all shopping local, or we tend to leave our city and spend our dollars out in another community. So I would suggest to people that the opportunities here are to shop local. We've got creative, great entrepreneurial spirit in our city, and we look forward to COVID being looked after, mitigated, and moving forward.
Thank you very much for that response. We'll go to our next question here, which is about crime rates in Prince Albert. If elected, what are some of the suggestions and policies you would bring forward to help address concerns about crime that have been brought up by local residents and local businesses? We'll start with Dawn first, and then we'll go to Diana. So Dawn, go ahead. Dawn, I think you've muted yourself there.
There you go. I'm doing very well tonight. So crime has been one of the top topics as I went around the ward and talked with people, and they have huge concerns. But I feel that in our city, people are talking about that the police services have been lacking, and defunding of the police services, and I don't agree with that. And many of the people in the ward do not want that. They want to see more police officers going through the community. They also want to meet and talk with their neighbors. And sorry, I don't know why I'm so nervous, Diana. I'm very nervous. So anyway, back to the crime. The number one thing that we need to work on here is our mental health. And with mental health services and addiction services, we need to work with the province to get more people that can work in those areas that will help bring down the homeless rate, the mental health help that the people of our city deserve. So then it's more of a proactive way of looking at things than a reactive. Our police service is amazing.
Thank you very much, Dawn. We appreciate it. We'll go to Diana. Your response.
I believe that for policing, we need to look at what are the systemic causes of the crime that's happening in Prince Albert, because there's more than one reasons for what's going on. Certainly mental health, addictions is part of it for sure, but we need to actually help with our police services in a multidisciplinary team. So not just police, but have mental health, have addictions people, to support the various needs of what's going on in Prince Albert. I also believe that police services is underfunded, because I think that when we look at policing in Prince Albert, we need to look at policing more than just the 40,000 plus people that live in Prince Albert, because we have, I would say another 10, 15,000 coming in from norths and other areas. So we need to fund our police services to match that number and not just the citizens of PA. So yes, crime is an issue right now for sure. But poverty is too, mental health, addiction issues is too. And so I think those things go hand in hand, and we don't just need police ramming in there. We need a multidisciplinary approach to handling what's going on in Prince Albert right now.
Thank you very much for those responses. We'll go on to our next question, which is about how the COVID-19 shutdown has affected local businesses. What do you think the city can do to assist business owners who have suffered economically from the pandemic while also balancing the city budget? We'll start first with Diana, and then we'll go to Dawn.
First, my heart goes out to the people who own businesses here and all over, and that have been affected by COVID. It's tough. It's tough starting up a business and trying to make it work in a good economy, never mind with what's happening with COVID. So my heart goes out to the people, and I know a lot of people downtown who own businesses and stuff, and so I know it's been hard for them. I think that this is a bigger problem than just City Hall. I mean, we could look at some tax reductions or tax breaks for people coming in, and I think we need to do that on a one-to-one basis because everybody's issues, everybody's case would be different. But we need to call on our provincial and our federal government to assist these people. So advocate for maybe more funding to be able to help the small businesses and just bolster their confidence. We have a big billboard on 2nd Avenue, you know, advertising for people to shop locally, like Dawn said. And so to pour back into our economy, I think that would really help our small business owners, you know, get back on their feet. But definitely it's bigger than just City Hall.
Thank you very much for that response. Dawn, go ahead.
It is definitely bigger than what City Hall can do. It is bigger than what we can do provincially and even bigger than what we can do federally. So that means that we have to get back down to the very basic needs. Governments will do as much as they can to support our businesses, and we will do as much as we can. If I'm fortunate enough to get into City Hall, of course we will work hard and to help our small business and promote local, buy local, buy local, buy local. But I do feel strongly that we do need to stop for a minute, take a deep breath, look around, check out the neighborhood, and help and support each other. We can do this. We are doing this. It will be over. And hopefully the small businesses that are already doing so much and have already cut back so much that they will make it through COVID. So please, everyone who's listening, shop local, shop local.
Thank you very much, Dawn. Next question is about communication with your constituents. We're asking if you were elected, would you be willing to meet with ward residents through regularly scheduled town halls to discuss grassroots concerns? We're going to start first with Dawn, and then we'll go to Diana. So Dawn, go ahead.
The answer is absolutely. And on top of that, we should be communicating regularly through emails about what's going on, if that's the way that Ward 7 people would like to communicate. So it absolutely, the more communication back and forth, the better. We are not, the people in City Hall aren't all the be-all, know-all. Our community has so much strength and knowledge that we do need to make sure that we meet together and collaborate.
Thank you very much, Dawn. Diana, your response.
I'll bring the coffee if we can. I know that during COVID we can't, but absolutely. As I was going from door to door, it's amazing that people are, coming out and talking, and they know what's working in their community and what's not. They know where the crime houses are and what's happening down the street. So who better to hear from than the people who live in the community, for sure. What's your concern? I've already had people ask me to cut down trees that are around them. So yeah, I'm willing to listen and to hear what the concerns are, and definitely to take them to City Hall and see what we can do to help people live more comfortably in their neighborhoods. And I believe that that whole project is about all of us helping. Yes, I'm one person and I might be the face of Ward 7 if I'm elected, but I'm not it. It's everybody that lives here. We all own a part of that. And so I think I would really strongly encourage people to talk and to meet, but also for us to get out and to do, whether it's cleanup or whether it's neighborhood watch. We have to have each other's backs. I think that that's so important. So yeah, let's meet, let's talk.
Thank you very much for that response, Diana, and thanks to both our candidates for coming out and answering a few questions for us today. Before we let them go, we're going to give them each 1 minute to just make their pitch to voters of Prince Albert. We're going to start with Diana first and then go to Dawn. So Diana, go ahead. You have...
So as a person of visible minority, I think I would love to represent the changing diversity in Prince Albert. I think that's huge. The face of Prince Albert has changed over the 20 years that we've been here. And I think that City Hall needs to be a place that represents that. I have lived in this community. I live here for the last 20 years, and I know this community. I know the neighborhoods. I know that we have people who live, some who live in government houses and others that are lawyers and doctors within Ward 7. And so I know it's quite diverse. And so I'm willing to work as hard as I can to kind of bring everybody together and to you know, fill in the gap as needed. And I'm excited. I'm wanting to have that voice down in City Hall and see what kind of changes I can bring. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diana. Dawn, you've got 1 minute. Go ahead.
Diversity is definitely our strength in our city and in our ward. And it is something that we have to keep up in the forefront. As I said in the very beginning, quickly, that I'm a very pragmatic person. My strongest skill set is my ability to sift through tough problems, bring people together, and move toward proactive approaches. I'm a very, very much team player. I am an extremely good listener, and I am not afraid to make tough decisions when I need to do that. So Ward 7, I just humbly ask for your support, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much again to both our candidates for joining us tonight. That concludes not only our Ward 7 segment, but it includes that concludes the virtual town hall as well. Thank you to all our candidates for participating and for putting your name forward to serve the citizens of this city. We especially thank all the viewers who joined us tonight on YouTube and Facebook. And again, please remember to subscribe to the Prince Albert Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel and to like and share their Facebook page. We hope that tuning in virtually to hear your candidates has been a good experience for all of you, and that it has provided you with a bit of insight that will help you make your decision when you vote for your ward candidate representative on November 9th. I'm Jason Kerr. Thank you very much. Good night.